Hello everyone, my name is Louise Rainin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you how to make a nice package to hold chicken noodle soup. I use the chicken noodle soup family size package, so this makes 2 generous bowls or 4 medium-sized bowls. This package is approximately or just under 4 3/4 inches wide and just under 3/4 of an inch thick. So to make a box for this, you're going to add the width plus the thickness plus the width plus the thickness. And in this case, I'm going to add one more width because I want my package to have a box with a front cover. So here's one that I made earlier. So this is the front cover and this is the box. And that's the back. So it's a nice little package held together with a little paper clip. Oh yeah, there we go. This is my website if you'd like to shop at my website, louiserainin.stampinup.net, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So to make this box, the first thing I do is start with a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I cut that in half, and then I take my 2 halves and I score them. So this is not the first time I've done this video, so I've already started messing around a little bit here. So the first piece is the front of my card. I'm going to score it at the 3/4 inch mark on the long side. Then I rotate it clockwise. I score it at 4 3/4, and again at 5.5. The second piece, I score the long edge at the 3/4 inch mark. Then I rotate it counterclockwise. I score it at 4 3/4 and again at 5.5. And the reason I do one clockwise and one counterclockwise is so that I end up with an equal number of fronts and backs when I'm assembling a whole bunch of these. Okay, so for the front of my card, this is going to end up being the front. So I don't need this little flap at the bottom. So I remove that flap, and then I've cut up on these little flaps so that they're easily fit inside the box. For the back of my card, I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm not going to remove anything. I'm just going to cut little triangles out so that my flaps will fold up cleanly. Okay, and while I have this in my hand, I'm going to, since I know this is the back of the card, I'm going to stamp the back with my logo stamp. I think it's important as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that we always identify, first of all, that Stampin' Up! Stuff is copyrighted, and second of all, if they want to make more of these, they know how to get a hold of me. The next thing I'm going to do with the back of my card is cut the flap. So it's going to go this way so that the soup fits nicely inside. So I don't do anything special to line this up. I line up this crease with the edge of the metal on my guillotine, and the bottom crease, or the next crease, with the bottom edge. Okay, and I just cut off a triangle. It doesn't matter how straight your triangle is. Nobody's ever going to judge you based on that. Okay, so this is the back of my card, and this is the front of my card. When I assemble it, I want to make sure that my stamp ends up at the very back. Okay, so I'm going to put my tape on the front of the back side of the card against the edge, and on the front of my card, I'm going to put the tape on the back side. Now, to line them up, I want this middle section to be 4 3/4, just like the front and the back. So I line up the first crease on my grid pad at the 0 line and line it up to the bottom of the grid pad without sticking it down. The second piece, I want to line up to the 3/4 mark. 4 3/4 mark. Again, lining the top and bottom. Okay, once I've got them all nicely lined up, I'm ready to commit. I overshot a little bit, so I'm just going to trim this corner off, hide my mistakes. Now we're ready to assemble our box. So I turn it over to the back side, and I'm going to put my Fast Fuse adhesive on these two tabs. They're going to go to the inside of the box. Oopsie, come on Fast Fuse, don't fail me now. I know a lot of people don't like Fast Fuse. It is my favorite tape because it doesn't fall apart. You also only get one chance when you're assembling something with it, so you want to make sure that you know ahead of time where you're going. Okay, so the first thing I do is square up the side. So approximately a 90-degree angle. And I do that with both sides. And then finally, I take my last flap and put it nice and square over those. And there we are. We've assembled the basic box to contain our soup. Okay, our soup is just going to nicely slide in there. Now I need to finish the front of my card. So for that, I've pre-stamped and colored an image for the front and an image for the inside. I made the front image with the Christmas Sweaters Stampin' Up! Stamp set using the Santa Claus, and I also used Hug in a Mug set. So sending warm thoughts, you warm my heart, there's the snowflake, there's the mug, there's the steam somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, and then I colored my Santa and my sweater in using the new Stampin' Blends that are available at my site, louisereynan.stampinup.net, if you're shopping in Canada. They're a wonderful product to work with. You must make sure that when you're using them that you, oops, there's my previously failed image, that you are going to cover up the back of your card because they do bleed through. Then I colored Santa's hair and the fur on his hat with the Wink of Stella to give it a nice shiny look. So to finish this off, this piece is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I've rounded the corners. So that's going to fit on top of my 4 3/4 square box with a 1/4 inch to spare all around. So I initially stamped this image in chocolate chip, not really thinking about what it was I was making here. So that's why I did it again using the Memento Black. You can use the Stampin' Blends on chocolate chip, but you have to make sure that you don't linger with your blends or that you don't use them to push the color around very much, because you're going to end up bleeding the original stamped image. My inside image is just going to go there, and there's a little bit of room for me to write a note, or I can write down here on the crumb cake, cherry cobbler. Okay, and there we go. And to finish it off, I find the box front is a little wiggly, so finish it off with a paper clip. I don't have any of the current Stampin' Up! Paper clips, so I use this nice little reindeer clip from last year. But I think that makes a beautiful finished product. Okay, inside we have sending warm thoughts and a nice package of soup. So I made, like I said, a couple of them earlier. This is a retired set from a couple years ago. Here's another sweater one. And I think these are really a fantastic gift for Christmas time or for any time of year when your friend is not feeling well. Here's the measurements. And once again, please visit my site and shop at my store, louisereynan.stampinup.net. Thank you.